All right, sometimes on the show you see at the end of the show I tell you about my online program, the Young Turks. On that, we do 1 hour of politics, and then we do a second hour that crosses over from pop culture to politics. And I do that with my co-host, Ana Kasparian. And she's joining us tonight for exactly those kind of stories, and I love these. She's out in Los Angeles. Ana, tell us what's going on today.
Well, Cenk, we actually have a few wild stories straight out of Montana. And let's start with 27-year-old Matthew Otto. He's from Montana, and he's facing up to life in prison after a jury found him guilty of criminal distribution of dangerous drugs. But get this, his dangerous drugs was 3 grams of medical marijuana, and the distribution was him sharing his pot with 2 of his friends. Montana law defines any distribution as a felony that carries a possible life sentence. The man hasn't been sentenced yet, and his public defender is calling this case, quote, a puff of smoke.
Now, look, they passed it inside a car, so that's stupid, right? And they were driving the car. He wasn't driving, the guy who got charged, right? But there's also a $50,000 fine, and he has a medical permit to actually have the marijuana. Life in prison and $50,000? Doesn't that seem crazy?
It does seem crazy, and when you really look at the big picture, in Montana, if you are found guilty of sexual assault and it's your first offense, you pay a $500 fine, and you face a whopping 6 months in prison.
I mean, how does that make any sense? And I know that story. It turns out if you have 3 sexual assaults, you might get up to 5 years. But you can get life for smoking a little bit of pot? Look, I don't smoke pot, but this is insanity. This is madness. It's not even reefer madness. All right, but
I mean,
we got...
It shows you where our priorities are. I mean, really, you think that someone who's found guilty of sexual assault doesn't deserve a stricter sentence, but someone who's caught with 3 grams, 3 grams is such a tiny amount, that person deserves life in prison, potentially life in prison?
I don't even know how small that is because I don't smoke pot, but I mean, come on, this is crazy. All right, but we got another crazy story out of Montana. What's that one?
A Montana state representative actually stood on the floor of the Capitol and defended drunk driving. How crazy is that? So this Republican representative, his name is Alan Hale, thinks that the state's DUI laws are destroying small businesses and the way of life in Montana.
I have to rise in opposition to this, along with all of the other DUI laws. These DUI laws are not doing our small businesses in our state any good at all. They're destroying them. They're destroying a way of life that has been in Montana for years and years. These taverns and bars in these smaller communities connect people together. They're the center of the communities. And I'll guarantee you there's only 2 ways to get there. Either you hitchhike or you drive.
All right, Cenk, first of all, I love his Colonel Sanders necktie. You gotta love it. And also, here's the most unsurprising part of this story. Hale owns a bar.
Oh, come on. I love these guys. They're so brazen. It's like Isa with the road that leads to his business properties. Rick Scott that wants to do all the drug testing because he owns a drug testing company. This guy has the nerve to come out in a Colonel Sanders tie and be like, drunk driving's our way of life, man. I mean, oh, I own a bar? Oh, that's just a coincidence. All right.
He's so depressingly ignorant. I mean, I love how he's thinking about businesses, but he's not thinking about the number of people that die from drunk drivers. I can't believe he went up there and talked about that.
It's our way of life, drunk driving. And these guys are supposed to be law and order Republicans. Crazy. All right, tell me about my home state here. What's going on there?
All right, Rutgers University paid Jersey Shore star Snooki $32,000 to speak on campus this week. More than 1,000 people showed up to the event, and some students were actually outraged, which makes me very happy, that their tuition money ended up in Snooki's pocket. Student Heine Remen told a reporter, quote, "The fact that our school spent $32,000 to bring her is ridiculous. It's fine the money used here is meant for entertainment purposes, but I think we can get better entertainment than that." What's crazy about this is that Rutgers is paying author Toni Morrison $30,000 to speak at a graduation ceremony on May 15th. That's $2,000 less.
She won a Nobel Prize. Snooki's big prize is if she hooks up with, as in her words, a gorilla or a juice head from the beach. I mean, how upsetting is this, Ana?
No, it really upsets me because it just shows our society's obsession with these losers, okay? And I know that's a harsh way to define her, but she's a loser. You don't get any type. You don't get anything out of talking to this girl, or you don't get anything out of listening to her speak.
Right.
I don't know the academic value of it.
All right, we gotta go. Thanks, Anna.